Up full, up full, up full. What is up full? Blessings and infinite love, beautiful beings of earth. It is your liberation guide, Chantel, tuning and dropping in with y'all. I got my Bobin Sana and Blue Lotus tea right here. I'm feeling so good. I'm feeling so activated. Really excited to dive into this topic right now of curing and what that is, and healing, energy healing, and what that is. Keywords. Boom. It's a powerful distinction. What I've experienced throughout my life is conventional ways of healing and curing, and what that is. I've been immersed in it. I've experienced it. I've experienced energy healing and the ability to truly heal our bodies in the way in which the illness doesn't show itself again, where I am now more expansive, more powerful, more aware, more attuned into the truth of who I am and into my own power. And we'll go a little bit more in depth of what that is as we speak about it. I just want to drop it right here. If you are interested in diving deeper and embodying this power to heal your life and heal yourself, click the link down below and join the Upful membership, where we meet on a monthly basis. You get coached by me, different workshops where we embody this truth and we actually put it into practice in our life. What a cure is healing the physical manifestation of a thing. We're utilizing medication, we're utilizing Western ways of healing, allowing for something outside of ourselves to be able to heal oneself. Curing is not from a space of true empowerment. It's from a space of, what can I use that's outside of me that can help me heal, because I am powerless, because I don't have the ability to heal myself because I've reached a certain stage, or this certain thing is happening and I need to go that route. There's a quote in this book from Caroline Myss, The Energy Medicine, is that curing is a physical illness and does not mean that the emotional and psychological stresses that were a part of the illness are also alleviated. So when curing something, we're not looking at how it was created to begin with. We're not looking at what else is contributing to the manifestation of this illness outside of, okay, there's this fibroid, there's cancer, there's uterine fibroids. Okay, we get to have surgery to take it out. Autoimmune disease, anemia. What I experienced from doctors and hospitals when I was experiencing autoimmune disease and fibroids is that this is just what is. That I have autoimmune disease, that I am extremely anemic, that I will always have fibroids growing, and it just what is, and just come back when it gets too worse, or come back when the tumors get too big so we can take it out. There wasn't a guide, a reflection of how it even showed up to begin with, and how can I do the things to ensure that it doesn't show up. So that's curing. Healing, energy healing, is tending to the root cause. It's tending to our emotional, our spiritual, our mental, our psychological, our physical. It's serving and looking at all areas of the self to create healing on all levels. So that way we are operating and experiencing life from a state of wholeness and power. That way illness is not created or manifested externally. Because what illness is a reflection of any disharmony that's happening internally. It's an inner-outer game. So if we're experiencing autoimmune disease, it may be we feel unsafe in our world. It may be that we don't feel true to ourselves, and that we are allowing for external reality and validation and approval from others, guilt and shame to run our lives. So we don't feel safe in our own self, in our own body. So then the immune system begins to attack itself. It feels as if we are the problem. It feels that it needs to protect oneself from oneself. So autoimmune becomes created, anemia becomes created. So there's these different aspects, these different emotional states of being, different trauma that hasn't been released from the body that ends up creating a sense of illness, a manifestation of illness. There's another quote from Caroline Myss where she says, in conventional medical treatment, the patient follows a program prescribed by a physician, by a human, by a person that is operating from their own sense of conditioning and paradigm and their own way of thought. They are an emotional being and come with their own emotional stressors, anything that they have been withholding. And then they put their tool, they use their hands to open you up, and their energy is being transferred through their hands into your body. Are y'all hearing this? That their energy Their intention, their awareness is being beamed into your body, and you are taking that in when you're fully open in your most vulnerable state. Even if you didn't have surgery, but you're at the doctor's and say you're getting like a pap smear and your yoni is open, or say if you're going there and getting medication done, they're not asking you, how is your lifestyle? What are the choices that you are choosing on a daily basis? What is your state of thought and your perspective on life? What is your lens of life like? What are your values? What do you do on a daily basis to pour into yourself? What do you do to extend the state of joy, to increase your life force and your vibration? There's all these different things that get to be put into play when meeting with a physician. And a lot of these things aren't talked about. It's about food. What are you eating? What are you doing? It's all surface level. It's not tending to the soul. It's not tending to the spirit. It's not tending to the energy of oneself. And we are energetic beings. And to continue here, she says that the responsibility for healing lies on the doctor. Whether the patient cooperates with his health provider is certainly noted during such a treatment, but his attitude is considered unimportant to the process. Drugs and surgery are to do most of the work. Again, what I just mentioned is that we are giving our power away to another human, to a thing, to a process in order to do the work, but we're not truly looking internally and asking the question of, what environment am I surrounding myself with? What thoughts are showing itself on a daily basis? How do I feel about myself? How do I feel about those I'm in relationship with? And we are relational beings. We get to ask ourselves, how do I feel in relationship to money, in relationship to food, in relationship to myself when I rise up, to my job, to my phone, to everything that we come into contact with, we are in relationship to. Curing is depending on external sources. And even when consuming herbs or consuming tea, many times we are depending on the herbs, we are depending on the natural medicine, the natural modalities, and there's so many different modalities of like acupuncture or food or red light therapy or breath work, all of these external ways and these tools and these modalities which are powerful. Truly, they're powerful to incorporate into our day. And we also get to reflect and attune with our emotions and let our emotions let us know how attuned we are to the truth of our knowing, to the truth of our being, because we create our healing reality. We create from thought, and our thought creates our reality. And as we shift into what healing is now, and to speak a little bit more into that, and why that is the space and where I come from, is that healing, conventional, curing, medical, westernized ways of healing, westernized ways of being with illness, is that we are not allowing for our consciousness to come into play. And that's the biggest thing here, is that we're not allowing the space for our consciousness to be expanded within curing, within the topic of an illness. And now healing, on the other hand, energy healing, is now we're bringing in consciousness along with the therapy. We're bringing along consciousness and thought and vibration and energy along with the herbs, along with the modalities or the tools that we're choosing. We're now bringing and bridging in the spiritual with the physical. We're bridging in the mind, body, soul. That is what's coming into play. When we come from a space of just do it for me, we get emails at Upful Blends. Hey, I'm experiencing herpes. What should I do? Hey, I'm experiencing this autoimmune disease. What should I take? How do I heal this? What can I take to heal this? Hey, I want to lose weight. What herbs and what regimen can I use to rid of weight? It's coming from an attitude of just do it for me. That I am powerless, that I am unsure of my power, of my potential, of the possibilities here, so do it for me. And let me just sit to that. And root even more to this truth, because the manifestation of an illness is the reflection of us getting to know how truly sensitive our body is to energy and emotions. It's getting to truly understand that on a moment-to-moment basis, we are choosing what is the motivation for our choices. What motivation are you tuning into within each choice? Is it a motivation of security and a safety and comfortability? Or is it a motivation of power and faith and trusting and knowing and of truth? Because the context and the motivation of our choices will in the end manifest itself externally from the space in which we've made that choice. Whether it appears a week from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10, 50 years from now. When healing the body with energy healing, we're looking at ways in which we have co-created this and maybe not have co-created this. But we also attune into the power of our being and of our essence to create healing in the way that we have been conditioned not to understand and not to know and not to remember. And when we do choose to make a decision from a place of comfortability or something that we know will work out for us because this is what we've been doing all along, or when we choose to create a lack of decision and a lack of decision from our power, it will in the end reveal to us that there is no such thing as a comfortable choice. There is no such thing as a choice of safety. Have you ever noticed that you attempted to create a decision off of safety and then you ended up being in an environment or in a space that you didn't really like, or that something else came up, whether you weren't experiencing the money that you get to, or the relationships that you get to, the environment was detrimental, or you felt unfulfilled, your spirit was desiring to be called forth in a higher capacity, all these different ways where we're just like, this ain't it. I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'm feeling frightened, I'm feeling guilty, I'm feeling, just not my most powerful self. It will show up. It will show up and reveal itself one way or another. We get to understand that there is a vast amount of possibilities that's available for us, through us, as us, that we've been conditioned not to look at. We have been conditioned to go to a Walgreens or a grocery store and get over-the-counter medicine, to get a Tylenol, to get an Advil, to get some cold syrup, to get something that just cures or tends to the surface level of the manifestation. We've been conditioned to go to a person outside of us, a thing outside of us, in order to feel safe, in order to feel validated, in order to feel protected. Yet what is being called of us, whether we're experiencing an illness or whatever even brought you here to this video, what's being called of you now is for you to shift your way of doing something that you haven't been willing or have known up until now. You are now knowing and desiring that there's more possibilities to healing and there's more possibilities to self-empowerment, to where illness then is not created. And if illness is created externally, whether it even be from a cold, the flu, fibroids, endometriosis, autoimmune disease, anemia, whatever it is that's revealing itself externally, you hold the ability to recreate that reality, to go inwards and reflect on, where is my energy leaking right now? And where do I feel that energy leakage within my body? And what discomfort am I feeling in my life? Am I bloated? Am I keeping weight on? And then you get to reflect on, what discomfort am I experiencing in my life? Oh, that's interesting. Now, how can I tend to that emotion? How can I tend to that leakage that I'm feeling in this certain part of my body, like down by my hip or on this side of my back or on my shoulder or within my mind or my jaw or my throat or my heart? How can I beam awareness to that? How can I be with that emotion? And then what's being desired to be expressed? Maybe it's having a certain conversation with someone. Maybe it's having a conversation with self. Maybe it's choosing to shift your environment. Energy healing and truly healing is taking responsibility and stepping forth into the healing process and experience. And we dictate the length of what that looks like. That's another thing that I want to shine light on, is that curing creates and paints this picture that it's quick and easy, that we can just go in the hospital and get surgery, that we could just take this medication and it be done with, that we can just go to this doctor and get the answers that we need. It's quick and easy for short term, but healing and energy healing, what's calling us forward, is that we create our reality and we create the timeline of what that healing process looks like. And it really reveals and shows to us how willing, how intentional, how aware, how committed we are to the powerful life that we are choosing to create on all levels. And that includes when consuming herbs and allowing that to support our body and healing itself and cleansing and detoxing, yes. And what part of you do you get to step into and embody even deeper to create your healing reality and experience? And you know that. We know that. It's just we get to ask the question and be real with oneself. So I trust that this created clarity on the difference of healing and energy healing and then curing, conventional ways of healing, and how those are two totally different things, two totally different come-froms, and create two totally different realities. Grateful to tune in with y'all here on this powerful distinction. Share, like, and subscribe if this resonated for you, and click the link down below to join the membership. If you know that you are being called to a bigger game in your life and in your health, because that is what we're up to in this world, is creating our reality, creating our healing experience from the inside out. Let's do it. Let's get it. Infinite love.